let's talk about documents you need before moving to site to start any project. These documents are very important, and these documents would help your project, start and finish well. And even when you move to the house, so even when that building is operational, it ensures that you enjoy your building, that your building is functional, that your building is done well, basically. So the first document you would need before moving to site would be an architectural drawing. Yes, and that is usually done by an architect. And that, of course, states the intent of the client, what the client wants, and also the intent of the designer. And it is the document that sets the tone for the entire project. All other documents are done based off the architectural drawing. So you see, the architectural drawing is key and important. But yes, I know a lot of you know that already. But let's talk about the other documents. Secondly would be a structural drawing. And this comes very handy and very important when you are building a story building. You may not necessarily need a structural drawing when doing a bungalow, but when doing a story building, say a duplex, a triplex, a shopping plaza or something, you need a structural drawing, because that is what tells or details the structural stability of the building. Like most of us would always say structural integrity. Yes, so the structural drawing, talk about or detail issues around the structural stability. So you want to build a strong building, you don't want a building that would collapse on you tomorrow. So get yourself a structural drawing. Thirdly would be the mechanical and electrical drawing, and usually you look for a mechanical or a services or an electrical engineer to do that for you. And these drawings talk about the plumbing, issues in the building or on the project. They talk about, the pipes, the flow, the fittings, the positioning, and all those things. So you don't want to build a house where you are having plumbing problems in the future. If a lot of our projects have these things done from the onset, then we would not be having some of the issues we deal with in our buildings, most especially here in Nigeria. Next would be the electrical drawing, and it talks about the electrical works in the building. You don't want to build a house where, the electrical fittings are not properly placed, or where you get into some rooms and some are very dark or some are very bright, or, you're even having, your sink or your refrigerator shocking and all that because the appropriate sizes of wires or types of wires were not used. So it's very important that you get an electrical drawing, and it's also very important that whoever is in charge of the building project ensures that these things are done according to plan or according to drawing. The next would be a bill of quantity, what you would normally hear as BOQ. Even the Bible says who is the man that would build the house without first of all counting the cost. So you want to know how much it will take you to, do your project. You don't want to start a project and you don't finish at the end of the day, or it stops halfway. So you would want to count your costs before moving to site. Last but not the least, not definitely the least, is the builder's document. And the builder's document entails three things basically: the program of works. You want to know when your project is starting and when your project is ending, so you want to track that. The next will be the health and safety plan for the project. You don't want to hear that someone died in the course of building your house, right? So what is the plan for health and safety of workers, and even you, the house owner, when you visit the site? Lastly will be the quality management plan. You want to know what is the plan for quality. What are the things to be put in place to ensure that quality, the house is built to standard, and or the house is built to the required quality. So you'd want to have all those plans together. These documents are very, very important, and they ensure the success of any project. So I would advise that before you build your house, you take your time to ensure that these documents are put together before moving to site. All right, see you soon. Bye.